Hello everyone and welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm Ste Hall, this is Tom Jennings and we're here to talk about two teams pretty much in particular this week. We're going to talk about what's going on in Los Angeles with the Rams and then also Jenno's New England Patriots. Doing things both teams doing things a little bit different in this off-season ahead of the draft, like I say. The draft as we record is about 16 days away. Next week we'll be doing some type of mock draft, but for this week we thought we're going to look at two teams who do, like I say, they're doing the off-season, they're making some strange moves. So what our thoughts on those, especially the Rams, who are a fascinating topic at the moment. So I'm just looking at the Rams now, all the off-season moves, Jenno, and as a broad picture, what have you made? Obviously, they've give up a lot of draft picks. They're not taking rookies with those draft picks. They've went and got themselves established NFL players. Obviously, the basis of this conversation is they've just given up a first to your Patriots for Bradin Cooks. What have you made of their off-season as a whole in terms of, we're not going to draft players, we're going to use these picks to get veterans in right this second?
I think it comes down to what their base for their team is, which is all their talents on rookies. So they don't need more rookies to fill out their roster. What they need is veterans and players who are going to go in and give them a chance to go and win a Super Bowl now. It's that kind of, it's similar to what the Seattle model was when they had Russell Wilson in his rookie contract. Before the quarterback gets all the money, here's your chance to just get all the best players. I mean, they're basically building up what is essentially a dream team. Why they've got the stars in Donald and
Donald, Gurley, Goff are all on cheaper contracts.
All on cheap contracts, so that's why you go and get. You're getting Cooks. He's on a cheap contract. His is due next year. You got Peters. He's going to still be on that cheap contract. And then you got the veterans in Talib and you got Sue, and you're basically just building up a monster team that you know is only going to last a year, 2 years. But you're opening up with that Super Bowl, that becomes all in for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and especially last year we saw them, they got to the playoffs, they won the division quite comfortably in the end. Yeah. The teams in their division, we've got Seattle who are rebuilding, the Cardinals are rebuilding, San Francisco are building themselves up. They're probably what the Rams were a year ago, they're a little bit behind. But the Rams, it looks to me like they decided is, while Goff's cheap, while Gurley's cheap, while Donald for the moment's cheap, we got to the playoffs with this team, so we can add that little bit of stardust in the weak areas, and corner was a weakness, and now they've got what you'd say is one of the best combinations on paper in the league. And Dominican Sue teaming up with Aaron Donald, well, double team someone. You know what I mean?
Good luck, lads.
Yeah, go and get they couldn't sign Sammy Watkins, the money didn't work out, so they decided we really need an ex-receiver. Well, we can give a first round pick off for a guy and pay him a year down the line. It just looks like to me like they're going, right, this is our time now, we can win the Super Bowl this year. It's a bit different because most NFL GMs or teams, they're always looking at the future, we'll draft a player, we'll develop him and we'll get 5 years out of him and then we'll pay him. The Rams have gone, screw that. We're going to turn these draft picks into good players straight away, so they give up a first, I'm going to go through here, so they give us a first for Cooks, they give up a second pretty much in 2019 for Marcus Peters and a fourth this year. Akeem Talib, they paid for him a 5th round pick. They got Sam Shields, who was playing for the Packers for nothing basically, off the street corner after his concussion issues. They're getting Dominican Sue on a 1-year deal. They have very much chips, all the chips are in. The bookies have already, if you look at the Vegas odds, have made the Rams Super Bowl favourites. Can you see the justification behind that?
Yeah, because I think another team who also did something very similar was the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. Now, they weren't as splashy their moves, but again, they went and spent a lot of money on veterans because they knew their best players and Wentz. I'm blanking on names right now. Wentz was on a rookie deal, so you don't, before the quarterback gets all the money, there's the option to go and spend big on players and just go all in. And at the end of the day, this is what you got in it for. You're in it for the Super Bowl. I mean, Denver Broncos did something similar when they went and got Talib, when they went and got Ward, Peyton Manning and Sanders, and that worked for them. They ended up going to 2 Super Bowls and winning 1. So it's been done. It's just another way to skin the cat than what's basically been the Packers model, which is you draft players, you stay away from free agency, you stay away from trades, and you just try and build up your own roster that way.
Do you think the LA thing's got anything to do with it? They're moving to a new stadium in LA. They are, they've got another team in their market in the exact same city. They're trying to be the Chargers now probably feel like the insignificant little brother almost. The Rams are very much embracing the LA culture. Do you think that's a part of it as well? Like, we need to put bums in seats in this new stadium.
I think it is. I think it's a place where players want to be. Players want to be in LA, so I think that they're willing to take a little bit of a discount. I think that's one of the reasons why maybe Sue, who Everyone knows he's a bit of a is willing to be a mercenary, but nothing wrong with that. He's took a 1-year deal to go there. I think that just the name LA, just that star power. I think players know that they're probably going to make more money through sponsorships than what they maybe will do through the payments of a contract as they go to LA. Yeah. So that opens up a lot more avenues than if you're somewhere lost on the Tennessee Titans, who no one knows where they are. They're usually an irrelevant franchise, and that's issues that you have when you're not in a big market. Like when they were in St. Louis, that was an issue, whereas now the LA, the dominant, you get the headlines, putting the bums in seats.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole trade thing, I suppose, the people, I think, I'm a big fan of the draft, I always am, but I think the draft is ultimately picking players. Yeah. And all they've done, they've picked players with their draft picks, they just haven't picked rookies, they've picked guys who, for whatever reason, they're going to be on shorter contracts, maybe pay them more. But they have still got the mid-round picks, and if you look at last year, they did well in the mid-round. So Cooper Kupp caught 80-odd passes, mid-round pick. You know, the Jackson mid-round pick. So they have done well there in that range. I suppose what they're thinking is we go star power heavy, we fill the back of the roster with your late round picks, and let's make a serious run at this. Because, like I say, Jared Goff's had 2 years now, so you get 2 years of him, then his 5th round option, and then they're going to have to pay him if they hope to pay him, because that means that he's done his job right. They're basically saying it's Super Bowl now, let's go and win one, and we'll kind of deal, like what Denver did, we'll kind of deal with that when we get to there. But right now, like if you asked a lot of Broncos fans, if you said to them, listen, we're going to win the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, and then you might have two down years, they'd probably go, yeah, fine. Yeah. Most teams would. Get there, and then we'll kind of kick on. It's very rare someone does what New England do, who go and go and go again. Seattle did it for a while, and now they're doing what you said before. They've paid their quarterback, they've had to pay players, and all of a sudden, you know, the more higher paid players have got to leave because there's only a finite amount of money. The Rams, it looks to me like, I wouldn't be surprised in 3 years if the Rams are 4-12, but I wouldn't be surprised in 3 years if the Rams are 4-12 with a Lombardi trophy in the back pocket, and they'll all be fine. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, you play to win the Super Bowl. You don't play. I think teams, I always feel like overvalue picks, and like I know the Patriots, who were talking about a little bit more what they're doing differently. Last season, I think they only had like 4 picks that they fewest in the league because they spent their picks on players like Bradin Cooks, who worked out for a year, and then some of them like Coney Ely, who didn't, and got sent away within weeks. So I think people just think picks are so valuable that people overrate them over what's better is actual having vets and talents who can win you games. Games win, picks don't.
Yeah, I suppose the logic is, you know, for every 5th round, 6th round pick that is Antonio Brown or Tom Brady, there's lads who don't even make your team. So for a 5th round pick, for a Aqib Talib, you know what you're going to get, even if it's only for a year. It's, you know, the 5th round defensive tackle or offensive lineman who's just 7th on your depth chart. Have a year of a Aqib Talib and then, like say, see what happens later. You mentioned the Patriots. They've started acquiring picks this year a little bit. So they've now got the 23rd pick, the 31st pick, and they've also got 2 second-round picks as well. So there's a lot of talk that they are in quarterback market. They are, you know, if they really wanted to. If someone falls to, say, 15, 16, that range, which, you know, I personally don't think any of the top 4 will. I think if anyone's likely to, it could be Baker Mayfield, who I think the Patriots would love. Do you think they are in quarterback range, or do you think it's more a case of our defense needs help? For example, we've now got 4 top 60 picks. To what we mentioned before, let's go and pad the roster up for lads to help Tom Brady win another one, because we keep saying it, this could be the last year, we don't know. Can you see them going quarterback, or can you see them actually, no, we'll go defense, and then maybe pick the heir apparent later on?
I think they got the 2 picks, and I think they're going to be both defense. This reminds me very much like it. I think it was the 2013 draft, where the Patriots had a couple of down years where the roster just wasn't there, because you don't get blue chip talent when you're on the back end of the 1st round. You're getting basically a 2nd rounder, but you're spending a 1st round pick on it, and that's kind of the way the Patriots think. They think they value it as, does he start? Is he a role player? Is he a developmental player? And I can't see, like, I know somebody for, you know, read American football, they're saying they'll trade up for Lamar Jackson. And I was like, I can't see that, because that's a developmental player. Why would you give your house away when Tom Brady was the best quarterback in the league last season? So I think they're going to look to try and get 2 blue chip defensive players, or maybe one tackle. Then they'll take a quarterback in the 2nd round, and it's going to be one of the 2nd tier quarterbacks to Rudolph, the Falks, or there's someone else, another name which we might not be thinking of, unless it's something mad happened, like someone was there at number 20, maybe if that was Mayfield or if that was Allen, both one of them had dropped, then I could see them only trading a few picks up to get him, just go, well, we'll see what happens. Kind of like the way Packers did with Rodgers. He was there, and they just went, well, let's go for it, let's just take him. What's the worst that can happen? You need to plan your future.
He's the best player on the board, let's take him kind of thing. I suppose I could see New England loving Baker Mayfield the player. Whether they love Baker Mayfield the fella is a completely different issue because, you know, he's very much, he is headline news. You know, the Patriots are failing themselves on not being in the headlines. You know, they're not allowed to celebrate, they're not allowed to do this. The press conference are boring, the coach is boring, Tom Brady's boring. But Mayfield the player, I could see them falling in love with. I think I wouldn't be at all surprised if they packaged the 2 picks and moved up, but for a star defensive player. Because I just think I think the top 20 players in the draft are really, really good. So, and five of those might be quarterbacks. So then there's 15 excellent, you know, really, really good players. 10 of them are probably on defense. I wouldn't be at all shocked if you know, they decided, you know, we need another corner, or we really could do with a pass rusher. Now listen, Chubb's going to be gone, but there could be, you know, a Davenport or a Landry, or, you know, one of the edge rushers might fall, one of the linebackers might fall, say someone like Tremaine Edmonds or something. I wouldn't be at all surprised they said, listen, like you mentioned before, 31 and 23 are going to get us a decent 2 players. Why not go and get the blue chip player? Yeah. And there'll be a team in the mid-rounds who would love 23 and 31, where the Patriots could go, actually, if we get that one star defensive player, we're listening with the Patriots. We're going to be we're 12 and 4, 10 and 6 at a minimum. Yeah. Because Tom Brady guarantees you 10 and 6. Can we get that? What stopped us winning the Super Bowl last year? It was pretty much the defense. Can we get that one star player? Can we then bring our, you know, Dante Hightower back in from the shelf and then transform this defense with one guy? Because they probably can.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the improvements. I was big on some of the improvements, like Jason McCourtney coming in, and some of those kinds of moves that they've made. So I think that's it. It's just that front seven needs fixing. That front seven, which was really strong in the 2014 Super Bowl, we saw last season was very weak. It was a very weak front seven, and the Eagles dominated it, and they dominated it with ease. It was like, as everyone said, it was like a video game. It wasn't like watching any defense in that Super Bowl. So that's the problems the Patriots need to fix, and that's when, how would you fix that? You'd have two chances to take a big name player. So I just don't see them like trying to waste that on a quarterback when you don't actually need a quarterback, especially with those second round picks where you can take one.
There's a lot of talk about Belichick, his future, how long's he got left, blah blah blah. He's the GM, he's the de facto GM. He's the GM, so he does what he picks the players and stuff. From a selfish point of view, he could be thinking, right, fix the defense, win another Super Bowl. From a legacy point of view, he could be thinking, right, I'm always tied to Tom Brady. Let's try and win one without him. I suppose that's the counterbalance, is that if Lamar Jackson's on the board at 23, which isn't out of question, he could fall that far. He's going to be very polarising, and Belichick loves him. For whatever reason, they love him. He's now got a decision to make of, do I go for the future? The guy who might not play for 2 years, because as an organisation, we're tied to Tom Brady. There's a reason Jimmy Garoppolo isn't there no more. For whoever's decision it was, whether it was Kraft, Belichick or Brady, and there's probably a combination of
all three of them, because again, I think people have overrated. People keep forgetting that Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the league.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So do you go again, or do you try and win that Super Bowl, or do you go, actually, do we get the next Garoppolo, and then in 2 years' time we'll cross this bridge again?
I think, don't get me wrong, I think if the one of the quarterbacks was there at 23, I think they might pull the trigger. But what I'm saying is, I don't think they're going to try and trade up for one of them. I think it's got to be, he's there and they like him.
Yeah, for sure. If I had to guess, I think 5 quarterbacks go in the top 20. Yeah. I think someone will like Lamar Jackson enough to pull the trigger on him.
I think the Cardinals will take him. That's where I've kind of felt they'll go, and that's where...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it would make sense. You know, they're coming from a Carolina offense, you know, a Carolina scheme there, or the head coach is from the Carolina Panthers. So, you know, they've had a running quarterback, and albeit Cam's a different running quarterback than Lamar Jackson is. Lamar Jackson's proven that, a bit like Cam Newton, he's a thrower who can run. He's not a runner who can throw. You know, I mean, Lamar Jackson can play pocket quarterback, he can. Yeah. But you'd be stupid not to use his legs. A bit like Cam Newton. Cam Newton can play from the pocket. You'd be stupid not to use his legs. So I can see that happening. I'm with you. There was talk, like maybe will they go for Odell Beckham, the Patriots? I can't see that happening. It's just not going to happen. I just think, if I was a betting man, and I am, I think 2 defensive players just absolutely make sense. I think the Patriots have got by. Why would they want to get Odell Beckham and pay him more than Tom Brady when they've won Super Bowls with Brandon LaFell and they've won Super Bowls with like just basically no-name receivers? You've actually got a couple of decent receivers. Malcolm Mitchell's good. Hogan's good. Edelman's back, which everyone seems to forget about. That's fine. Gronk. They don't need pass catches. What they need is protection for Brady and someone who can just slow the defense down so that Brady doesn't have to constantly be performing the miracles that he's had to perform.
Yeah, again, Malcolm Mitchell, people don't realise what a loss he was last season. We don't beat the Falcons without Malcolm Mitchell. And from something I was reading is one of the reasons why Tom Brady apparently wasn't that disappointed Bradin Cooks' goal was spacing wasn't right with Cooks. He just knew how to run down the field really fast, which, it worked well for us. But Malcolm Mitchell understands that space. And when you see his route running, he gets himself 5 yards up by understanding the spaces in his zone, which is what, again, all the Tom Brady wide receivers who work compared to the ones who don't are the ones who understand where to be in his own coverage, because that's what Brady's bread and butter is. You're in the right place, I will find you in that zone. Like, that's why Bill Belichick likes lacrosse players as well. That's why Chris Hogan's been so successful, because he understands that kind of spacing.
Yeah, and we saw in the Super Bowl how much Cooks doesn't understand spacing when he's running around the field and gets his he gets knocked out. And that to me, I like Cooks as what he is.
Yeah.
He's a downfield threat. And if the Patriots, if the line's going to be pretty bad, which I think it is going to be, you don't really have time for a downfield passing game. You want the Tom Brady quick strike. On Cooks, if we go back to him, 2 Super Bowl winning coaches and 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks have kind of been okay with him going. I don't think there was any tears shed when he left either team, and they got good value for him, both teams. Yeah. Patriots gave up a first to get him, which the Saints turned into a great player. They get a first back and I think they had to give a 4th, but effectively they've traded a 4th round pick to move up like 8 places in the draft the year after, which is fine. Is he a little bit overrated, do you think, in terms of what he is? Because that's 2 Hall of Fame, probably Hall of Fame coaches, 2 definite Hall of Fame quarterbacks who've kind of been okay letting him go.
I think what it is one, he's going to get paid top 10 money. That's what everyone's scared of, and no one's quite sure that he's top 10. But you've also got to think of the situations. Michael Thomas is amazing in New Orleans. It was very hard to keep him and Michael Thomas, together, because Bradin Cooks wasn't happy that Michael Thomas was the number 1. That seemed to be what the story's coming out of New Orleans. And then as for the Patriots, again, we all know Tom Brady's favourite person is Julian Edelman. Then it's Rob Gronkowski. Yeah. So, and then it's usually a running back coming out the backfield. So I think with him being that kind of like a 1.5 option, he's not really a true number 1. I think teams can, move him, or happy to move on quicker because they know, especially with the quarterbacks that those teams had, they can use other pieces and money needs to be spent elsewhere. Whereas I think at the Rams, they're looking at Goff thinking, we need to give him everything possible. We're not sure if he's the guy. We're not sure if he's a guy you can just put your whole franchise on. So let's give him as many weapons as we possibly can. And there's no doubt that Bradin Cooks is a weapon, and that it's going to be tough for every defense to scheme against him.
Yeah, for sure. I say, to wrap up then, I say the Vegas odds are the Rams are favourites, and the Patriots are second favourites. There is very much a case that we can move that, in next February we are looking at this as a Super Bowl matchup. That is very much on the cards. I think these are 2 absolute stellar teams. Would you fancy? I don't know. I would quite fancy the Rams in that matchup just because the Donald and Sue factor is the Donald and Sue factor against what is at the moment a pretty average line for New England. That would terrify me as a Patriots fan.
It does, because that's pressure up the middle. Yeah. That's pressure up the middle, and Tom Brady's king-style chess move, which just move left 1 step and right 1 step, where you're moving when them 2 are coming at you. So unless it was a spectacular combustion between them players and it all didn't work out, but then they got to the Super Bowl, that obviously hasn't happened. So I don't want to see the Rams in the Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest. I want to see when someone's playing a Patriots team, I just want to see a great offense players, because I'm like, oh no, our offense will out offense your offense. A big defense is what scares me.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, they're the first. If we do get Rams, Patriots, we're putting our money on the Rams. Like I say, that's it for this week then. Like I say, hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Let us know in the comments below who's better, the Rams or the Patriots? Do the Rams deserve to be Super Bowl favourites right now? Do the Patriots deserve? If not, who does? Let us know in the comments below. Green Bay.
These Vikings are going to destroy that division, mate.
So we'll see. Let's say next week we'll come back with some type of mock draft type thing. I'll get working on that ahead of the draft, and then before we know it, we'll all have new players to talk about the week after as well. So we'll hopefully get a few guests and stuff like that. We'll through the off season, like I say, throughout the off season we are very much open to suggestions in terms of what you guys want us to talk about. This is what we're here for. Again, tweet us at Cover2TV or leave in the comment section below any topics that you think you would like us to discuss. Jenno, it's been a pleasure. Talk about your Patriots and the LA Rams as well, who are the in team now. Hopefully it goes better than the last dream team where Vince Young claimed the Eagles were the dream team.
They weren't a big dream team. No, that was the thing I never understood about that. I never looked at their team and went, you scared me. You were Vince Young, you were crap.
The Rams certainly, Aaron Donald and Dominican Sue would terrify anyone in any situation. The guy trains against knives, for goodness sake. He's clearly a little bit insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say that's been Cover2TV. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week with our mock draft. See you later.